We're going to do it. We're going to finally do it. We're going to have this AEW and WWE debate, and Oridan is going to join me now. I add him in. Hopefully, this works. Look, it looks like it's about to work. Although I can't see shit, so who knows if it is working. Oridan, are you there? If you're not there, let's just talk about what's happening this weekend. We have NXT, we have All In nonsense from AEW, we have Saturday night's main event with all the advert breaks, and then we've got Evolution on Sunday. So there are 4 big wrestling shows this weekend. We've already talked about how WWE have been counter programming AEW on a previous show, so we don't need to go into too many details around that. But I think the conversation was around there's business reasons why they would do it, why they would flood this weekend, what's happened as a result of that. We shall see. I don't know. I've allowed Oridan to come in, but I don't know what's happening here, so I might have to check my. Oh, look at these different screens I can do. Let's put something relevant. All right. One guest or one viewer, but I have no guest. Where is my guest? It's as if they're saying, no, let me join. I think it's only one guest. I think you can only have one guest on. So you're going to have to join in the chat, Asif. But I did let Oridan in, and I can't, he's not appearing. Well, I can't see him appearing, and I'm on my Mac as well, and I can't see him on the screen. So we're still waiting, I guess, for him to join. What is your movie to promote? Oh, yeah, that's funny. Hilarious Clark Kent. You have a movie to promote. Let's talk about Superman for a bit while we're waiting. I'm going to see Superman with the lowest expectations ever. Superman is here we go. Hopefully that will work. Oh, here we go. Oh, hello.
Hey Raj, how you doing?
Good. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm good. It is a beautiful sunshine today, so
It is a beautiful sunshine today, and also we should be charging people for this debate, I think, and I don't know how they're getting it for free. All 4 viewers, 5 viewers are getting this for free. There's just some things. Poor Asif is stuck in the chat now because you can only do 2 people live at one time, but he'll have to do. Talking about his movie. When are you seeing Superman?
I think around 4. It might be sometime during the afternoon.
Yeah. I'm picking Talia up from school, and we're gonna go see it. I mean, you're quite looking forward to it, aren't you? I've got low expectations, so it can only impress me.
I think for me, my anticipations for the film are decent because I feel like the trailers have looked good. I think the last trailer I did see that looked really, really good and really intrigued me for the film. I'm not going in the expecting it to be like some Zack Snyder film. This is a different type of film.
Yeah, I know. But the problem is, I like the Zack Snyder films. I know not everyone does, but I like them. I like Man of Steel. So, but I know it wasn't for everyone, and I know it did do. I mean, it did okay, didn't it? But some of the other films didn't do well. So, I see what they're doing, and I like Guardians of the Galaxy. So, let's see.
And I like Suicide Squad as well. I thought that was a
Yeah,
good film
yeah.
as well.
Suicide Squad was
So just,
definitely better than the first Suicide Squad, which is not
yeah,
hard
it was.
because that was one of the most toilet movies ever.
Yeah.
But oh my god, we've got 10 viewers. Look, this is all I need to use you on to get my viewings up. This is probably the most I've ever got. Apart from that, I don't know if you remember, I did that live stream when I was in Turkey last year, previewing
Mhm.
SummerSlam, and I got like 250 viewers. I don't know if it's like because I
So,
put my location as Turkey or whatever it was, but
yeah, maybe, yeah.
Asif says this is surreal. It is surreal, Asif. Where's our money? Where's our pay-per-view? Where's our thing? This should be behind the
Where's
paywall.
our, where's our piece? Where's all the money?
Exactly, exactly. So you tell me, what are you looking forward to most this weekend? So I did. Let me just for the 16 people now watching. So we've got big weekend of wrestling coming up.
Yeah.
We've already talked about how WWE have counter programmed that and why they've counter programmed that and they've
Yeah.
done that and whether that's been successful,
Mhm.
we'll find out at the end of this weekend, I guess. But
Mhm.
obviously, this is for someone who doesn't watch AEW a lot, just laughs at AEW,
Mhm.
as you know. This is
Of
their
course.
WrestleMania. This is their big thing, and WWE have decided to put 3 shows on. So I
Mhm.
know you're very excited about All In. So tell me why. Why are you very excited about All In?
I think for me, it's really just seeing Okada and Omega wrestle again. It's a rivalry for me. When I was really jumping into New Japan, that rivalry for me was one of my favorite rivalries that I've ever watched in the recent era for me. I think it's a rivalry that really helped the likes of an Omega, who at the beginning was really just a gaijin. He was really just a foreign wrestler in New Japan. And Kazuchika Okada at that time was, of course, the biggest wrestler to come out of New
Yeah,
Japan. New Japan was building him up. He had the rivalry Hiroshi Tanahashi all those years back. And to have that rivalry and the matches that they had, which were all 4 matches, and now to have it in American soil, I think that's what really excites me. I know that, of course, they're a lot older now. It's been years since they last wrestled, but for me, that's a match that really excites me because I know even at their age, they're still willing to give it their all. If there was a downside to Okada's run in AEW, it's really just like there's been times where he's been on it match wise, and there's kind of been times where he's just not really been on it. Like Randy Orton, for example. Randy Orton's a
yeah,
talented wrestler, but there's times where he doesn't really need to do much, and that's the kind of
yeah.
same thing with Okada. But with this match, I feel like both of them together, they want to give it their all. So that's a match for me that's exciting me. Mercedes Money and Tony Storm. I think that's going to be an exciting match or a great match because I think this my issue with Mercedes is that maybe the promo and the character has been lacking and it's very WWE, very Sasha Banks to an extent, but the match quality at times has been good. That's what something that has been really good for that. I do feel like the belt gimmick or the belt collector gimmick, it's been done. It's been done to an extent. Kenny Omega's done it. Austin Aries has done it. I think with Mercedes, it's just that it hasn't really got the value compared to those others. Um, I do think the match will be good. I am kind of scared of that she's going to take all the belts now, but um, but I think the match itself will be good. I think that will be good too, and I think the main event, John Moxley and Hangman Adam Page. I know that you're not the biggest fan of Hangman Adam Page, but I really like the development of his character. I think the Swerve Strickland feud has really helped him because before then he was AEW's biggest babyface. But I think the feud that he's done with Swerve Strickland have helped both of them. It's helped Swerve Strickland to establish him more as a bigger star than he ever was in WWE and to solidify him in AEW. And it's helped Hangman Adam Page to put him back in a level where people look at him as potentially the savior in this story. This is technically the longest story that Tony Khan has done with this whole Death Riders, the John Moxley world title thing, which it's definitely had its frustrations. I'm not gonna lie about that. It's definitely been frustrating. But I think it's been a few but I think it's hopefully if Hangman Adam Page wins, it's a story where it's been long term, it's been achieved, and hopefully the belt gets off of John Moxley. I don't hate John Moxley. I just think that this run has been a bit lackluster at times. I do like the chase. I like Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland kind of pushing Hangman to say this is the guy to win the title. This is the guy to kind of end this dark era that the Death Riders have put with this championship. So that I'm looking forward to. And then everything else, if it's the men's casino gauntlet, women's casino gauntlet, even Will Ospreay, Swerve Strickland versus the Young Bucks. I know the Young Bucks isn't everyone's cup of tea, but I still think over the years they have been one of the best tag teams in all of wrestling. So yeah, I'm excited for All In, and I'm excited for all the WWE shows as well. I think despite the whole clear, we're gonna put all these shows on this weekend to steal the spotlight, there is something to be excited for all these shows. I just think my criticism with WWE is just that there hasn't been enough build to those shows. especially Evolution, because Evolution in a way should feel like the females' version of WrestleMania, because you're celebrating the women that you have. You're celebrating this roster that you have, this talented roster that you've developed over the years, ever since you've given the women's division more of a chance. But I kind of feel like that's kind of like, man. But overall, I'm excited for the shows. I just think the show that might suffer is maybe the NXT show because at the same time.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I think so. Obviously, I know half the time we're joking about AEW rivalry, but I think for me, does it? I guess a few questions. Does it feel like WrestleMania or equivalent? Does it? Are these the best matches? Okay, someone who doesn't watch AEW, I watched a bit when CM Punk was there. I've seen a couple of Sasha Mercedes Moné matches. I've seen that. For me, when I watched that bit of CM Punk, clearly the outstanding person other than CM Punk was MJF. Where's MJF?
Yeah.
I'm sure he's got a match, but I couldn't even tell you what MJF is doing now. And he clearly was on this massive high. And I think,
Mhm.
we don't need to talk about attendance and all that, but obviously they're in a stadium. It's not a massive stadium. They're going to have, I think they're going to have 20 to 25,000 people, which is still an achievement. But obviously, last 2 years it's been at Wembley, 60, 70,000, and maybe that's because it's in London and somewhere else. But does it, to you, as someone who watches a lot or all wrestling, not just WWE like me, does it feel like
Mhm.
it's their WrestleMania, the biggest show of the year?
For this show, it feels like their biggest show of the year because of how they've kind of built it up towards. I think when I look at how the show is being formatted or how it's been booked, it does feel that way. And I would say Tony's done a solid job to book it that way. I think he's done a solid job with the main event match where it feels important, where people want Hangman Adam Page to win. Tony Mercedes is the biggest women's match you can ever do right now for AEW. Okada Omega,
I agree.
everyone, I think the hardcore fans or even the wrestling fans who know the history between Okada Omega are excited for that match. I guarantee you, as soon as that bell rings, the crowd are gonna go excited for Okada Omega because sure, it's a rivalry that hasn't appeared in the US, but the fact that a lot of people are excited to see this match is a testament to their rivalry and a testament to their ability as wrestlers. Um, and I think the biggest strength AEW can do, and it's always been their strength, is their match quality. And hopefully Tony does it in a way where everyone gets a time to shine. Of course, the biggest issue is going to be the length. I think the pay per view will be lengthy to an extent. I think they're still adding matches, which, ugh. But their strength is going to be their match quality for me.
So why
Throughout this
is
whole
it?
show.
I don't know. I asked this question in our group. So we're just for full disclosure to anyone who's watching, who's not part of the group chat. I suspect it's everyone probably in the group chat watching, and that's about it. But let's just see if
Yeah.
there is a. Why is it at 3 p.m. in Texas? Why is it not at 7 p.m.? And obviously that's peak time in America, like 7 p.m. Is that because Saturday's main event, or is that it's always been?
I think it's sad. I think it's sad in that main event. I think because WWE put a lot of shows. Because I think originally this is what was reported or whatever, that Saturday Night Main Event was going to be July 12th, and because of that, I think AEW moved it up a few hours ahead of Saturday Night Main
Yeah,
Event.
and they've got obviously
Um,
different models because they've got to get people to buy.
yeah,
It's not on. It's not on. Obviously, Saturday Night's main events on mainstream TV or I can't wait for watching on YouTube on Sunday morning with 27,000 adverts and then their own adverts. I have to say that
yeah,
is not a user friendly experience. WWE. If you could just put it on Netflix, we could just watch it or anything other
yeah,
than YouTube. We do not need more
yeah,
adverts as well as the advert breaks. But I mean,
mm,
I like so my view on the whole thing. I've already shared. Like, I understand why WWE. They're a business. TK are a business. They are trying to
yeah,
put the other people further down. However, I
yeah,
agree. I do agree. The build for this weekend from a WWE perspective has not been great. I think
mm,
it's what I said earlier. Is the Evolution card is great. Apart from, I have to say, I'm not feeling Tiffany Stratton versus Trish Stratus. I don't care. I just, she's obviously not going to
okay,
win Stratus, and I don't. It's just a last minute match. And I get, in fairness to WWE, there's obviously something here with Nikki Bella and Liv Morgan that can't happen now because Liv Morgan's
cancelled, yeah,
injured. So I get it, but at the same time, I'm not at all excited about what a match was put together for 1 week. That
yeah,
two two faces, and then you've got a face facing them, a baby face facing
yeah,
them at SummerSlam as well. I don't. There's nothing in that for me. But the other matches, however, I think is a really solid card, and I think, in my
yeah,
opinion, it'll be the best show wrestling wise. I think the women will go all out in terms of like they did at the first Evolution. The Battle Royal, at least it has got some stakes as well, rather than just
yeah,
nonsense like it normally is. And I'm sure there'll be some like Michelle McCool or Well, Nikki Bella's already said she's in it, isn't she? As if you're still watching, you can give a shout out to Nikki Bella. But maybe I don't know. I need to ask this question actually. You all know. Is Brie Bella with AEW, or is she not
No,
with anyone?
no. So no, I don't think she's with anyone. She's not with anyone. I know that she was in that big moment last year in All In
Yeah.
with Bryan Danielson, but I don't think she signed anywhere.
Okay. I mean, I assume we were going to get some kind of Raquel and Liv tag match against the Bellas, which I actually would have been down for. As everyone knows, I'm a big
Yeah,
Liv fan, and I think that
yeah,
would have been better. Was better than Tiffany Stratton versus Trish Stratus. I mean, also Trish Stratus wasn't great in their match in that when they had a match, didn't they? Like a tag match in Canada. And it's supposed to be her last match in front of the kids or something like that. I mean,
yeah. I think,
obviously Trish is a
but
legend. She's amazing, but time comes for us all. And if we're going to
yeah,
criticize
she did.
John Cena's in the ring, yeah.
Yeah, she did have a really good match with Becky Lynch. I think it was in a steel cage
Oh
match
yeah,
that
yeah, that was great. Yeah, I
really.
mean their feud wasn't great, but their steel
Um,
cage match was brilliant, wasn't it? That
yeah,
was like
the
a
steel cage was great.
yeah,
I remember the match you had with Charlotte. I don't know. I don't remember if it was 2018 SummerSlam
yeah,
I
yeah,
think that one was good.
yeah,
I think the issue with Tiffany and I mean we know Tiffany's winning. That's just the
yeah,
point
yeah,
thing.
yeah, exactly.
Hopefully the match is good. Hopefully the
Yeah,
match is good. Hopefully they have good chemistry. It's just similar to the Goldberg match. It just feels like why is this for the world title?
yeah,
Like the Goldberg match, like even though it's a retirement tour and it's to give Goldberg his last goodbye, it shouldn't be for the world title. It's similar what you did with John Cena and R-Truth. It wasn't for the championship. It was just an exhibition match.
yeah.
Why couldn't it be the exact same thing for
It does.
Goldberg and
It does
Gunther?
make the debate around like who should be the number one contender when people are working hard to become number one contender and Goldberg just gets the title. I agree, and we obviously know well unless Triple H does something, and if Goldberg wins, then I might even switch to AEW. That's not, I think that's come on, that's not going to happen. But at least I mean the only good memory of Goldberg. I think I said this in the group chat. So Goldberg, when Nitro was hot and he beat Hogan in Atlanta, and it was a big
That was
deal.
his peak.
And then obviously they lost their way. And then the bit, and I have to say, when he beat Brock Lesnar in like a minute or whatever it was, that was
Yeah,
no one saw that coming, did they? And Lesnar was
yeah,
they booked him so unbeatable at the time. That was pretty good, but I don't want it to happen. If Gunther gets squashed in 2 minutes, I mean, it's not going to happen, is it? I just want to see Goldberg get
yeah,
chopped for real.
yeah.
We'll see. At least their promo was a bit better. Was their? I mean, Gunther's great, but his Goldberg was a bit better, and he didn't spit in his face this time while he was chatting. So
Yeah,
that was
all the promos for Gunther and Goldberg have actually been solid. I haven't really had a
yeah,
problem with. I think Gunther's done a good job to come out every Monday Night Raw, solidify himself as the world champion, solidify as the person that's going to beat Goldberg. And I think the promos that they've done for Goldberg have been solid. And I think what they did at the end of Raw was solid too. So I haven't really had a problem. It's just that the match itself is kind of like we're all on eggshells to know if it will go well. Will they put it on commercial break? Will
it'll
after
be
a chop,
over if they put
after
on commercial break. The match will
after
be
one
finished.
chop, will they put on commercial break? And
I
Jesse
know.
Ventura. Think about it. Jesse Ventura is going to be commenting a Goldberg match in 2025. Think
I
about
know,
that.
it's
That's
mad.
actually
It's
kind of mad.
mad. It's probably the best
That's
thing
mad.
about Saturday night's main event is Jesse Ventura coming back and adding
Yeah.
that. I have to say, for me, I just treat it like a glorified special SmackDown or Raw. I don't think it's great. The commercials obviously is a kill. Obviously, if you're in the
Yeah.
UK, you're watching Netflix now, and they cut the commercials, so you don't have to watch that. But with YouTube,
Yeah.
you've got the commercial breaks in those shows, and then you've got the YouTube adverts, unless you've got YouTube Premium, which it's just it's not an enjoy. And I think it's a one match card. This is a there's I mean I'm quite happy that Jimmy Uso versus Solo Sikoa has been it gives Jimmy a match, although he's going to get pinned again.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but it gives him a match. The rest of it, Seth versus LA Knight will be fine. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll be honest, the only thing I'm watching this for is if Roman Reigns returns. Like, I'll watch Goldberg versus
I think
Gunther.
he's returning.
Yeah,
I think he's coming back. I think
I hope
that's
so.
how. If I'm WWE and if I want to take any shine away from All In,
Yeah,
if All In's an
exactly.
amazing show, for
I
example,
agree. I agree. You
I'm
bring
having
back your
Roman
biggest
Reigns
star.
return
Yeah,
somehow. I'm
I
gonna
agree.
have Roman Reigns return at certain way
Yeah,
here. If he can't return here, maybe
yeah,
Monday Night Raw. Because I
yeah,
feel now's the time for Roman to kind of get involved because we're near to
yeah.
SummerSlam. So he could
I
return.
agree.
He could return on Saturday.
I agree, and obviously there's a couple of routes for him to go down. There is Jacob Fatu needs another member if there is that. I mean, I think that'll be a waste. It's not a waste of Roman, but we ain't getting him many dates. He's going to go and film Street Fighter. which we can talk about soon. Street Fighter in Australia in August, so he's wrestling at SummerSlam and he's off again for a while. So
Yeah.
I mean, and I keep saying this. I say this to everyone who will listen. Roman Reigns has got a finite. I think he's got probably less than 10 matches, maybe 10 matches left in his career. And I don't think I needed another Bloodline versus Bloodline feud from him. The Seth thing's there. You mentioned, didn't you, the other
Yeah.
day, Braun Breaker. I would happily pay my money to
Yeah.
watch Roman Reigns versus Braun Breaker at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
So we'll see. So he's got a. So that's assuming he will come back in the Seth match because Seth's kind of taken everyone out now. And if he beats LA Knight, which he will, then that would make a sensible storyline option for then Roman to be the last one because he's taken out Sammy,
Yeah.
he's taken out Penta now, and they've taken out Sam. Who was the other one? Who's the third one that I've completely forgotten? Someone else they took out on board, didn't they? Jey Uso got 2 tsunamis, didn't he? So,
Yeah, they do.
although I don't think Jey Uso is not wrestling at SummerSlam, but yeah, they've taken it out. But in terms
Yeah.
of so NXT, you watch NXT more than I do. I see clips
Mhm.
and stuff like that. I mean,
Mhm.
this is the question, isn't it? Because it's on
Mhm.
Netflix here, it's on Peacock in America, it's free.
Mhm.
It's at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. How?
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know. They never release proper
I think
figures
it's
anymore, do
eight
they? But
afternoon. It's 8. I think it's 8 o'clock UK time. So same as All In.
yeah, same. So peak time for the UK. You've got. I mean, are you two screening it?
I'll probably two screen it. To be fair, I know my method it don't make sense, but it makes sense for me.
No, I do. I do with the
I
football
don't.
and stuff, or even when I'm watching football and something
Yeah,
else as
same. Yeah,
well. I'll do it. Yeah,
yeah,
I'll do it. I'll do it. Thing. I think it's. I think it makes sense. I mean, I'm guessing mainly your attention will be on All In, but you can keep an eye on what's
yeah.
going on in NXT. I couldn't even tell you
Yeah, I
one
think.
match to be honest. That's happening at
Yeah, and
NXT.
I have taken a look at the NXT show. I think this is kind of
Oh, Jordan Grace
like
has got a title match,
NXT.
hasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me the card looks okay. I think it's a decent card to put on.
Yeah.
Um, I think the match that maybe I'm looking forward to the most for me is maybe actually Obafemi versus Inamura, because
Mm.
I have actually seen Inamura live in Shoreditch before. So I think during his excursion out, he wrestled in Shoreditch. I think this was back in September, but he's been in NXT for a while. I think in terms of a host match, that will be a really good match, back and forth with Obafemi. I think Blake Monroe's going to be wrestling in, or Mariah May's going to be
Yeah,
wrestling in
that's
the
cool.
debut.
Yeah,
It'll be in a tag match.
that's her
I
debut,
got
then, isn't it? A WWE debut, isn't it?
That's her WWE
Yeah.
debut. I think she's wrestled in house shows previously, but this will be her
Yeah, because
WWE
before,
debut.
yeah,
It'll be,
debut. Yeah, that'd be cool actually. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I do,
and
I
I
do
think
like, I
Ethan
do
Page
like her. I
versus
think she's
Otis
good. I
Steen.
think it's a good signing for WWE. Obviously
Yeah,
she wanted to go and such like that, and she did.
yeah,
Obviously had a great feud with Tony Storm and stuff.
yeah.
So I was. The reason why we started this call, or one of the reasons we started this call, we were talking about this Tony Storm and Mercedes Money, and I'm going to be look. I know I am biased towards WWE. I just felt the whole vibe of that promo, and maybe that's because the show. And this is not, obviously NXT has like 200 people at their shows, but it just felt low budget, and it wasn't low budget, but it just felt with you could
Mhm,
hear individual people speak in the crowd. They get excited
mhm.
because someone said shit or big deal,
I
and I
think from
guess
your,
yeah, go on.
I think from your side, you're cutting off a little bit from your side,
Oh, am I? Oh, I don't know.
but I think I
Maybe.
can hear you now.
Okay. I was just saying, my view on the Tony Storm Mercedes Moné promo, which I watched, which I did watch, I have done some research on AEW. I think was oh, have I? I don't know. I don't know. This is me. Asif, tell us what the sound is. I know you're still watching. You've cut off.
Yeah, you're back on.
Oh yeah. I can say I can hear you. I can't see you. Oh yeah,
I can't
no, I
see you
think I
either.
can now. It's fine. That's fine. I can see it in the map. Um, Asif, maybe the sound's not working because you haven't paid. No.
Can you hear me now?
Okay. Okay. Um. So, yeah, my it's not criticism. My observation of AEW is, and it just feels a bit indie house show. Not even house show, indie like an indie show, and I get it. And this is my argument always. How does it get this bigger audience and attract people that aren't hardcore wrestling fans?
Okay. So Raj, can you hear me? Because
I
I
can
can hear
hit.
what you're saying, but you can hear me.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think this is something for AEW to sort, because it's something that can't be sorted by, let's say, WWE fans or whatnot. And I think what AEW have created as a company has been a successful company in terms of being the second company to launch out, do these shows, be at Wembley Stadium, be at other foreign shows. For them to grow their own audience is really on them. That's why WWE will have or always have that advantage because they are the company that is established for professional wrestling or sports entertainment. So for WWE, they have it already solidified because of the amount of years they've been in the company, the exposure they have, and of course also the exposure to the mainstream and also celebrities. And of course AEW, even though they are a company that are pro wrestling, they would want that opportunity. They've been at times used celebrities in their matches as well. In terms of where they are, in terms of like for example feeling indie or whatnot, I think that's just in their DNA. A lot of these wrestlers have come from the indies. Some of the most successful WWE wrestlers right now, if you look at the Seth Rollins, the Kevin Owens, the Sami Zayn, they are indie DNA. They were Tyler Black, they were Kevin Steen, they were El Generico before they became where they were in WWE. For AEW, I think that's just in their DNA. That is something for them that they can solidify to themselves as well. That's something where, in terms of let's say the match quality or the difference in the matches, might differ from WWE. Not to say like WWE can't do great matches, they can. But with AEW, I think it's just it's their own way to find their bigger audience. It's definitely on them for failing to grow the audience when they collapse. And I think the reason why it was collapsing was that the stories weren't just engaging as they were previously. Why WWE were very successful around 2023 to 2025 up to this point is not only because there was a rise in tickets and everything, but the stories were working. The Bloodline was an effective story that was working and actually engaging people. They had genuine stories around that was actually engaging to other people and also to their core audience. I think that's kind of the issue with AEW where their audience dipped. I think this year has been a year where people have actually cared for the stories a little bit more. People have been more engaged to that story. But I think for me, it's just really just for AEW to sort out what can do to grow their audience more to where they are right now. I think the audience that they have for All In is a good audience. Could it be more? I definitely think it could be more. But for them as a company, they just need to find the way. Tony needs to find the way to solidify that self. Right now, he has a company where it's more of his homegrown than ex WWE guys, and that is something that for them they have to really push on their own and have to really solidify. Because if they took the likes of what WWE were doing, everyone will look at them as like WWE light. So it's something that they're not always going to win. But when the things can be criticized, they can be criticized. There's things in AEW that needs to be criticized. I think the women's division, as good as it is, what happens if Mercedes Moné wins the world title? Because she has all the championships. What do the other women have to fight for? What does Tekla, Queen Aminata, Nyla Rose, Britt Baker, if she's still around, or all these other wrestlers are fighting for? That's kind of the issue. What you want to add a tag team division when I don't even trust WWE to do a good tag team division. I don't trust Tony to do that, even though he's trying to do that. So, like I said, and also the tag division or some feuds or some other things. I think it's really just for AEW. Really, that's their own thing to kind of sort things out. But I would disagree with because I know Asif's talking about Penta that WWE feels Penta feels like Diet Coke. I get it because the Pentagon I knew was breaking everyone's arms, violent, wrestling EO Sky, Chelsea Green. These are the days.
I've
These were
seen that
great days.
Chelsea
I'm not
Green
gonna. I've
match.
seen that
Yeah.
Chelsea Green match. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, but I feel like where he is right now is solidified in a position where he will not just be a luchador that people look at him and say, "Oh, he's a great luchador," but you also have Rey Mysterio. I think that's the thing that I'm hoping Triple H takes notice that you have these talented luchadors. You have Penta, you have Phoenix. Dragon Lee is talented. I don't care. This guy is good. This guy is good. This guy right here who has his palm was watching him and Dominic Mysterio on his lunch break. I'm calling you out. You have these talented. You have AAA now. You have all these different luchadors now. You don't just only have Rey Mysterio, and I hope with those luchadors he does a really good job with as well. So with Penta, I'm fine. It's
I
just that
think
one.
I have to say, yeah, Penta. I think they've done a really good job. I can hear myself now. How can I am. I It's paying me off. So Penta, I think WWE have done a really, really good job in making him feel like not just another luchador. He's got character. He's obviously in storyline rather than just being Mexican like the normal storyline. And in the LWO. So I think they've done a really good job. Obviously, good entrance, good look, good music, merchandise selling through the roof.
Yeah.
I think they've done a really good job. Obviously, his brother maybe not so much, but not everyone can say. But I mean, Pe- Penta's getting in. You know, he's in the main event of Night of Champions, and he's getting a run in. And I mean, it's hilarious. His running was so funny. But
Yeah.
I don't know why Asif chatting about Cardi B.
I don't know as well. Please, please.
I've
I
got to
don't.
meet Penta. Look at that.
Yeah. I think Ray Phoenix. I'm liking that he's being added to a tag with Andrade because it gives them something to do. I know ideally people would have liked Penta and Ray to be together because they're both, of course, they've tagged before. But I'm fine with Andrade and Ray Phoenix for now, and it's given Andrade something. It's given Ray Phoenix something, hopefully, because I think Ray Phoenix is talented as well as a luchador and as someone who I've seen wrestle over the years. If it's Lucha Underground, if it's in the Mexican scene, or if he, even in AEW, I think the strength of both Penta and Ray, they're both great in terms of in-ring singles wrestlers. They're both great, so that's also a great thing of having those type of guys as well.
And I think Penta on the mic. How often do we hear luchadors speak? Apart from obviously Ray
Yeah,
and
I think
and that.
that's the one thing I would credit WWE for. Yeah, that
Yeah,
they really
that's
speak.
it. And then to connect with that wider audience,
Yeah,
you need that with a lot of the stuff. So um, it's not the hardcore. He's obviously very good in the ring, but I'm just gonna do a shout out to Veronica who said she got to meet Penta. And said it's pretty cool. He does seem like a good guy, except for when
yeah,
they needed help in Night of Champions
yeah.
and just wanted to dance his way to the ring. I think it's a promise. Yeah, no, I think it's cool. I think it's cool. So, Asif, what was your point about Cardi B? Don't make me start on Cardi B. I'll start
Please
playing
don't.
some Cardi B.
Please don't. I don't even hate the woman. It's just like I just don't care. I just don't care. They promote this woman more than Evolution. That's kind of crazy when you
I
think
know.
about it. Like this, every single PLE, I see Cardi B more than Evolution. That's kind of crazy.
I'm not gonna lie. I like Cardi B. I like Cardi B's music. I actually think she's gonna be really funny at SummerSlam.
I,
I genuinely think she could mess something up if she's got an angle or something. She'll probably swear when she's not allowed to.
yeah.
But
I think Asif was talking about Andrade saying that they've wasted his potential. I think with Andrade, he's just been one of those wrestlers who he went WWE. I know how good he is in the ring. I
mm,
think he works better with a manager instead of just speaking by himself. For example, when him and Selena Vega were a team in NXT, I think that was the best Andrade. His match with Johnny Gargano in NXT is one of my favorite matches that has ever been, and I think that is prime of how good Andrade can be as a singles wrestler. I know he wrestled Rey Mysterio at a time when he was on SmackDown. I think it was years back. It's just that tough thing. He went WWE, didn't go well. Went AEW, didn't go well. Coming back to WWE, kind of the same thing. So I think him with Phoenix is fine for now. I mean, when they wrestled DIY last 2 weeks in Saudi Arabia, and that was a really good match. So I'm fine with the position that Andrade's in right now. I wish he could do more because I think he's that good. But yeah, the Lucha Bros are cool.
I think I mean, obviously Andrade
Oh,
was
that's
amazing.
another one. Carmelo
Um,
Hayes. I'm
and
sorry, Cardi.
that
I see
was
Cardi B celebrities, but Carmelo Hayes. I don't see him. This guy is actually talented,
yeah.
and he is nowhere to be seen. Nah, that's another one. And also,
It's
congratulations
weird,
to
isn't it? Because they put him with the Miz, and then the Miz has now gone to do American Gladiators,
yeah, and he's
and
just
he's just kind of lost in the background from the
yeah,
and that obviously SmackDown going from 3 to 2 hours
yeah,
doesn't help Carmelo Hayes. I'm a massive fan of Carmelo Hayes. I think he's going to be, but it's not great that he's not on TV.
it's not no.
Um, but he obviously can chat as well, so it's not like he's
No,
not
he's
just
good.
good in the ring, is he? So,
He can talk. I think that's just
yeah,
the
he
only
can.
issue. Yeah, like I think the issue with SmackDown is that sure it's gone down to 2 hours and people are gonna say that the reason why is because this is gonna affect other people. it's unfortunately I have to question the booking. I have to question the creative. Why, like you have? I think with the tag team division, it's a little bit better. Even though I don't really care for what they're doing with the Wyatt family, you have a solidified team. You have a lot of teams that you could do good things with. The TLC match after WrestleMania is the prime example of tag team wrestling being cool and people actually caring. The performance of all the three teams involved were incredible. Showcase performances for the likes of a Montez Ford and Dawkins, especially Dawkins in that match. So I think also with the other people like Carmelo Hayes, you could like you gave him the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, but since then nothing.
Yeah.
You haven't done anything. You've brought back Alistair Black. Cool. He's feuding with R-Truth, a guy who I'm not gonna lie, WWE didn't want. They wanted to let this guy go. It was not a work. Please, they were going to let this guy leave. They see where R-Truth is. He's feuding with Alistair Black. They don't have anything for him to do. It's because they didn't want this guy in WWE. They couldn't come to an agreement. They were gonna let him go, but they heard the commotion from the fans. Were like, you know what? We'll bring you back. Now he's about to get black mass by Alistair Black on tomorrow. So
But then I think, but then you can do a job now, can't you? So I think if
yeah, I
they
mean,
they put him with Alistair Black. Alistair Black needs a gym, and then I have to say I've never been that excited about Alistair Black this
I like
time.
Alistair Black. I think Triple H and Paul Heyman. Well, I'll say Triple H has liked Alistair Black. I think
Paul Heyman
the
likes him, doesn't he?
aesthetic. Yeah, I think the aesthetic of Alistair Black's cool, but I just think it's kind of got lost since his release. It didn't work out in AEW, but now he's back. I think it'll be interesting to see what he does because I feel like WWE do like Black,
Yeah,
but I don't know what will happen after. I think maybe because I did see him and Damian Priest. Maybe they'll do something involving those two
yeah,
in the
yeah.
R-Truth match.
That's
So
Priest needs something, doesn't he? But
yeah,
let's just say Raj still doesn't believe in Motor City Machine Guns. I've never believed. You know, the best thing about Motor City Machine Guns was their debut. They won the tag team titles, and they think, and I get the massive influence on tag teams. I get that they're good in the ring, but
they're
they've
good
got
in the
no
ring.
chat.
The thing is, I think this is where I see mostly Machine Guns right now in terms of their career. Um, I think they've already solidified as a team. Like in terms of what they've done in WWE, um, cool that they won the tag belts. It's cool that they had that great TLC match to show people, yes, this we are a great team. The thing is, they're both even great individual singles wrestlers. They're really good individually. Like Alex Shelley's great individually. A lot of people say that Johnny Gargano's a Alex Shelley clone, and Chris Sabian as well. But yeah, I mean, for where they are, I think they're not going to be a team that's going to get super over, but they're a team that's going to help solidify the other teams of tomorrow. They're going to help solidify a Fraxium, a Street Profits, and other people.
Those sorts of wrestlers. Veronica said what happened to Alistair Black. He was old and tired. He does it. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't disagree with that.
I think with him is just coming out of NXT. I think he was someone that people were looking towards the future, but then they moved him and Ricochet up because they were a team, and then it was just kind of like a mix up of what they wanted to do with him, and then they
I
released
didn't even
him.
know that they were.
Yeah, they wrestled at WrestleMania.
Did they?
Yeah, they wrestled at Mania
Was I in the
35.
toilet?
Mania 35.
I was there. My
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
I
But
bet I was in the toilet. Yeah.
yeah, but I think AEW didn't really work out. I think the stories didn't work out. The group didn't work out, and then of course he came back to WWE. I'm hoping that it works out here because I think there's a talented wrestler in there. There's something that you can kind of push there. I just hope it doesn't become a thing that he's just one of the guys that they've brought back from AEW and are kind of just floating around and won't do anything. Can we
Yeah.
have the same thing about Rusev? Because even his
Yeah.
match with
Agreed.
Sheamus last week was really, really good. It was a really, it's a reminder of like what I saw in the Miro days in AEW, where he was just this brawler fighting people. But I don't know what you do with Rusev after the Sheamus feud. It's a good feud, but I don't know what you do as well.
I agree, and I have to say there was a lot of criticism about Tony Khan just hiring everyone who they released, but WWE have just rehired them now. So
Yeah,
is there a plan? And I agree. What do you do with Andrade? What do you do with Rusev? Um, that's why I think when they've obviously we were talking about Penta. They've integrated into storylines. They've done that. I think that makes a massive difference. Rather than just having one or two. You know, Penta's in the biggest storyline on Raw right now. You know, in terms of that. So I think both of Alistair Black before after he left. Poor Alistair Black. I'm not talking Zelina Vega. Let's not talk about Zelina Vega because she's going to come off well.
Yeah, I think like I said. I think with the people that they're bringing back, or the people that WWE are clearly interested in, I think when I look at Ricky Saints, I think his future, because he's currently still in NXT, he could be someone that could be pushed over. I think Ethan Page fits WWE more than it does with AEW, and I think that was a very smart signing from WWE or NXT to bring him in because he looks for that. And of course, I'm not surprised about Blake Monroe joining WWE, of course, because she's always wanted to go WWE. I don't really
Yeah.
have an issue with her going there. There's been videos of her being at the Royal Rumble. There's of course her being a model for them as well. So I hope she does well. And I think I don't see her as a babyface for too long because I feel like her best work as a heel. It's very like, for example, Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill, which I think is going to be the next feud. Ironically, I think Tiffany and Jade work better when they're heels. I don't think
Yeah.
they work as strong as baby faces. And I feel like
Surely one of them's got to turn. And it's hard because Naomi's turned heel on Jade.
yeah,
But
it's
I agree. And for whatever reason, some of the crowd are not feeling Jade. I like Jade. I think she's improved. Her look, her entrance, everything. I mean, let's be honest, she looked like fucking Storm from the X Men. Like she was Storm at the X Men and made the most of those Saudi restrictions. And I think she looked amazing. And I like it. I don't think she's nowhere near as bad as the ring as people say. Um, and I just there's something about Tiffany Stratton. I'm not feeling in this run. And I yeah.
I
I don't
think
know. You'll say to keep feuding with Naya, and that's enough. I agree. But
yeah, I think in terms of like development of like let's say Tiffany and Jade, I think Tiffany has a higher ceiling because of her wrestling ability and how quick she's took into wrestling so quickly in her career. I think with Jade, she looks great, beautiful, amazing, aesthetically great. I think Jade is just unfortunately one of those wrestlers where when the bell rings, it just depends on the type of wrestler she clicks
yeah,
with.
yeah,
Um, Evolution is also going to be a big example when she faces Naomi. I think the problem with the Tiffany Jade feud going into SummerSlam is getting the people to care besides the looming fact of Naomi potentially
cashing
cashing
in.
in at SummerSlam at
But
SummerSlam.
we have to. I mean, but Naomi's been amazing. So
Yeah,
she's
and I think that's kind of been the strength. Naomi has grown very well in this from that feud and has taken it further. I just think with Jade, unfortunately, she's kind of been left. So even though the improvements in the ring have been there and she always looks great, Naomi has over exceeded what she even did throughout that feud to now be in a position where she's potentially going to be world champion sometime this year.
yeah.
Jade will probably touch the belt, but it might just be like a Drew McIntyre
It
feud.
could be a second, and that enhances their feud. I have to say, Naomi and Jade has been great. I think their promos, the whole angle, the elimination chamber was fantastic. One of my favorite moments of the year. And Naomi deserves the belt, and she'll get the belt. And
Yeah.
it's only Saudi Arabian fans that don't love her. So we'll see that. Opinions on the Wyatt stick. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I can go first. I think they had a cool aesthetic. I like the promos that they did, especially with Bo Dallas. I liked how he kind of tapped into the moments of grief, especially
Mm,
losing someone like Bray Wyatt, and even the rest of the Wyatts in their own way, involving the likes of I forget their names because they're in NXT as well. I just think they've kind of fallen flat since then. They had that whole feud on Monday Night Raw, then that evaporated. Then I think one of the White Six got injured and they couldn't really use them because WWE logic of like we need all six people involved. Brought them back here on SmackDown. I'm not really invested in them being involved in the tag team division because, like I said, I think SmackDown's tag team in on paper looks really good. Fraxium, DIY, Mosi Machine Guns, Street Profits. I haven't even mentioned Pretty Deadly. Um, it's a good division. I just don't know what you do with this team besides anything else, and it feels like other wrestlers can't really feud with these teams.
Yeah.
especially White Six because of the spooky thing. And MJF was
This is
always
always a problem. You know, even Bray Wyatt had this problem.
yeah,
It's the whole you can do a maybe program with someone, but then the match was never that great. Obviously, Seth and all of the other stuff. But
yeah,
and I think there's the same problem with the Wyatt thing. There's a cool element of it, great entrance, music,
yeah.
all of that sort of stuff. Give some of the wrestlers the stuff to do. But I agree, and maybe bringing them in for a few months each year or something like that. I don't know if that works.
Yeah.
It's a weird one because supernatural element is can only be done for a certain bit. But yeah. Um, we've got a question about what hi Metro Jason. What's MJF going to do this weekend?
He's in the Casino Gauntlet.
Okay.
He's in the Casino Gauntlet, so yeah. I think he's the
So
main
what's happened
event.
to MJF? That's what I want to know.
I th- I think where MJF is right now, he's been involved in a lot of high profile feuds, especially in the main event scene. So him being involved in the Hurt Syndicate, it's a team that even me I didn't expect because I do like the Hurt Syndicate. I do like the group, even though yeah, it's former WWE guys. But I think what what I would say Tony's done a good job is actually making the team feel solidified. If it's MVP on the mic, if it's Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley as a team, and MJF adding himself into that team, I think it's just at first, of course, Bobby Lashley didn't trust MJF because, as you've been seeing, you can't really trust MJF. He's going to do something where he's going to betray the team or betray people or just betray vice versa. So the team itself, I don't mind the team. I think the way MJF fits the team is fine for now. I think it's going to be a long term thing where he will either betray the team or something might happen, and that's gonna bloom the Hurt Syndicate to be baby faces because they get cheered every time they come out. People chant "We hurt people" all the time. They're gonna chant it in at Texas. So where MJF is in terms of here, it's fine because he's in a match where he could become the number one contender for the world title. And if, for example, Hangman Page wins, you can either do Hangman Adam Page versus MJF because these two wrestled at Revolution. They've been wrestling continuously for the years in AEW, where they've always wanted to up each other. So that's something you can do as well. It's not just only he's part of this team just to be away from the title, but he also has objectives and aims to go after the world title again. So yeah,
No, it's fair. I think my thing with MJF has always been he was at the peak whenever that contract stuff was going on. He decided to stay, fair enough. Obviously, got loads of money, but and he's still young. I just think
yeah,
sometimes he would have gone in at the Royal Rumble with a humongous pop, and been massive. So, but that's fair enough. Here's some hello. So I've got a fellow Raj saying, "Is AEW any good?" Don't ask me that. Um, I've got Conchi saying hi. And what WWE event is this weekend? Is this an AEW Pro? Because clearly on the graphic there was three WWE events this weekend.
there's a lot.
It's a question of MJF wins, will he face the champion in the main event or some other day? I'm assuming it's like Money in the Bank, isn't it?
It'll be a different. Yeah, it'll be similar to what it was when Christian won it back in London. It's kind of like the briefcase or the contract where they can cash in on any day. It's the same with the women's as well. Because I know there's a men's one, there's a women's one, so it depends. Because there could be surprises coming out of that gauntlet match who could appear. So I know MJF's
Oh
gonna
yeah,
have
because that was the one I did watch it last year when all these wrestlers came in that everyone got really excited about.
yeah, yeah. That was a great one because seeing Nigel McGuinness live, I was so shocked to see him because for
And I,
someone who yeah, because he's very heavy in the UK wrestling scene and he had to retire back in 2010 and he had a very great rivalry with Bryan Danielson in Ring of Honor and he's one of those like hardcore UK not hardcore but more like I think you saw Zack Sabre Jr. It's kind of like that
yeah,
style of wrestling where it's more technical, more laid back type style. So it was really I remember that was really cool. So it could be
I
good.
know Zack Sabre Jr. He's was New Japan, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's New Japan.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I need to make a move because I might have to do some work just in case anyone's watching. But I will. I think we can do this again.
Yeah. Definitely,
Um,
yeah.
and I guess everyone enjoyed the weekend. Well, maybe we'll do a show. We can do a review show next week. maybe an evening next week. I'll send you some dates,
Alright,
and
cool.
we'll do it again. Thank you, Oridan. I think your wrestling encyclopedic knowledge helps this. Throw a wrestler randomly at you. You can tell me when he wrestled, who he wrestled, and what. Um, as long as you don't try to wreck Tony Khan in Triple H, it's fine. Right.
I don't
Everyone
mind.
have a good day. Enjoy
Yeah,
Superman.
anyway. Enjoy Superman 2.
Take care. Bye bye.
Alright, take care.